Sorry, my dog likes to sniff my microphone. That wasn't me. Regardless of my dog and his weird interests, welcome back. But if you're watching this video, that probably means that you're hearing voices at night. You might also be hearing footsteps upstairs when you're trying to sleep. You might also hear Joel Osteen preaching when you listen to your baby monitor. All of these are huge signs of a poltergeist. And luckily for you, I know how to deal with such beings. Now I know you're probably sitting there at home thinking, listen, you dumb idiot, dumb stupid man. I know how to banish spirits. I played Luigi's Mansion before. And there is but one answer that I can give to your statement. However, that answer that I have, it's very rude and, I don't want to hurt your feelings, so I'm not going to say it. But if you think that I'm wrong and that you're ready, go ahead and approach that evil spirit that's been haunting you. Go ahead. I'll wait. Alright, I'm done waiting. Yeah, that's right. The spirit forces you to eat Hawaiian pizza if it gets its hands on you. And if you like Hawaiian pizza, then it spanks you. And if you like being spanked, well, please stop watching this video because, you're a little weird. Now that you are aware that you can't cope with that ghost, I am going to work on enabling you to be able to cope with the ghost. Why don't you go ahead and buckle that belt of yours, because by the end of this, you're going to be covered in dirt, ectoplasm, which, ectoplasm is just ghost pee. You're also going to possibly be covered in spray paint and grime. A lot of grime. But before that, I want to take the time to tell you about fake ghost hunters, because there are people out there who try to sham people. Like one time I was on YouTube and I was looking up No-Eyed Girl by Lemon Demon, and then I came across this written ad. I didn't even know that YouTube could have written ads. And, well, just allow me to read this ad for you. Consult our spirit healer in USA. Get well-balanced physical and mental health. Heal your pain. Free yourself from worries. Call us now. Save time. Quick and fast solution. 24/7 service available. Get your all problem. What is an all problem? I don't know what an all problem is. Anyways, effective results. Assured result. 100% privacy. Most satisfied customers. Efficient solutions. 24/7 available. Services, black magic removal, negative energy removal, evil spirit removal. Get your ex back. I kid you not, this is an actual ad that I found on YouTube, and they had a phone number attached, so I'm going to go ahead and call them and see what they're about. Hello, yeah, you guys deal with evil energy and black magic, right? Man, I guess they really do deal with black magic. Anyways, the first thing you're going to want to do is go to the store and get yourself a vacuum cleaner. Luigi's Mansion is fictional, however, there are definitely things that were taken from real world ghost hunting in the game. One such thing is the use of a vacuum cleaner. Now that you have your vacuum cleaner, you're going to need to practice. So go to your grandma's house, because, luckily, grandma likes to overdecorate. Use the vacuum cleaner to suck up all of her expensive knickknacks and table covers. She won't care, don't worry. Mine didn't. Granted, her cremation was yesterday, but, no one's gonna miss any of it. Her 50-year-old dog might try to stop you by nibbling on your legs, but don't worry, his attacks are inefficient because he lost his teeth a while ago. If the dog won't leave you alone and continues to heckle you, just go ahead and suck it into the vacuum cleaner as well. No one will miss him. Now that you're a quote-unquote suck professional, it's time that we figure out what type of ghost you're going to be dealing with. The most common ghost that people encounter is called the Ichthyan Mycethus. The Ichthyan Mycethus is its scientific name. Its actual name is Icky Mickey. The Icky Mickey is by no means an evil spirit. It just likes to pull pranks all day. Go ahead and put away your vacuum cleaner for now, because Icky Mickeys are unaffected by suction waves. Set out 1 bottle of Pepsi and then 1 Mentos tablet. After this, you're going to hide nearby. Eventually, the Mentos tablet will start floating in the air. This will be your cue to turn the lights on. The Icky Mickey is unharmed by the light, however, it is extremely slow in the light, like so slow that it seems as if it's almost not moving. So what you're going to do now is you're going to go up to the Icky Mickey and you're going to start putting him in embarrassing poses. Doing this will cause the Icky Mickey to feel so embarrassed and so icky towards himself that he'll want to leave and never come back because you've seen him that way. The next ghost we're going to be talking about is called the Hecus Malectus, but again, that's just its scientific name. Its actual name is just Hexman. Its name is actually pretty self-explanatory. When somebody places a hex on you, one of these guys will show up and haunt you. By the way, you're going to be using your vacuum cleaner for this one. I remember the first time that I encountered a Hexman was during Christmas time. I went downstairs because I heard a weird sound. I heard someone going, "Woo!" So I went downstairs to check out what was going on. And when I finally got to the bottom, I saw the Hexman downstairs, and he was climbing my Christmas tree. And I'm going to be completely honest with you, I don't know why he was doing this. Honestly, I think I might have caught him at one of those moments where, like, you do something, like, weird out of curiosity. Like, I don't know, putting pantyhose on your head or something dumb like that. But the Hexman just looked at me and he paused for a second. He stopped his wooing and he just looked at me for a couple of seconds. Then he started up his wooing again. And then he just climbed back down my Christmas tree. X-Men are actually kind of slow. They always stick to a walking pace, but they are still kind of chilling because they scream a lot and they hate terracotta. So I mean, if you have plants in your home and you use a terracotta pot, then I mean, just be sure that you're ready for the heartbreak if having the pot's broken. To deal with the Hexman, just lure him out of your house. This should be pretty easy because Hexmen are pretty slow, so it's not that hard to lure them around. And you're going to lure him to a rich person's house because rich people have sprinklers in their yards. Hexmen are highly sensitive to water. It doesn't hurt them, however, it does make it makes the goop-like substance that their body is made up of, it makes it harden. So now that the Hexman has physical mass, you know what you want to know what you're going to do next? You want to know? You're going to take that vacuum cleaner of yours, alright? You're going to take that vacuum cleaner and you're going to suck him up. Suck him up. You're going to have to suck him up if you don't want to be haunted anymore. He's going to try and run away, but don't worry, it won't do anything. The main challenge is going to come from his weight, because Hexmen are still very heavy. You'll have to walk towards the Hexman if you want to get more of him inside of the vacuum cleaner. However, you still want to be very careful because the Hexman will grab anything he can and try and throw it at you. This is where your epic athletic ability comes into play. You need to be able to avoid the things that he throws at you. Eventually, the Hexman will get his hand stuck in the vacuum cleaner. If you've played Luigi's Mansion before, you probably know what to do right now. Swing the Hexman over your head and slam him around. Slowly but surely this will cause more of him to slip into the vacuum cleaner. Eventually though, if the Hexman still has one hand free, he might start taking things around him and instead of throwing them at you, he might start shoving them into the vacuum cleaner to try and jam it. If this happens, just switch the vacuum to blow mode and then switch it back to suck mode after about half a second. And if you have him really far into the vacuum, this may have the added effect of giving him whiplash. Eventually you will have completely captured the Hexman, but you've still got a problem on your hands. Somebody put a hex on you, which means that somebody's bearing a grudge, which also means it's time for some interrogation. Knock on the vacuum cleaner and offer the Hexman his freedom in exchange for a couple of names. After you get the names from the Hexman, don't release him yet, because he's still required by law to haunt you. Instead, go ahead and find out where your grudge bearer has chosen to live. After you find out where he lives, go ahead and prepare yourself for the mental trauma induced by manslaughter. I'm gonna go ahead and leave that part to you, because I'm teaching you how to banish spirits, not how to commit a felony. Anyways, just be sure to release the Hexman after you're done. This next spirit is extremely rare, and would rather haunt places like high schools or prisons, rather than just haunt a single person. But still, I'm gonna tell you about it just in case. Mycalic Jacthus, aka a demon. Demons have only recently figured out how to turn themselves into spirits. That's why they're so rare, because the art of turning yourself into a demon spirit is not understood very well. Allow me to tell you a story. Once, there was a man made from plastic. Everybody loved him, and he loved everyone. A good example of his immense love is this one time his mute friend, her name was Annie, they were riding their bikes together, and Annie fell down. The plastic man was so worried about his dear friend that he spent the next hour asking her, "Annie, are you okay?" He saw so far past all of her flaws that he forgot that she was mute, and so he didn't know that she couldn't respond. But even though the plastic man was such a kind person, he loved everyone, everyone loved him, he had a big problem: drugs. One day the plastic man overdosed and went to heaven, and as God looked down at his new roommate and said, "Yo, what up?" the plastic man looked up at God, and he smiled, and then what he said next was heard even from earth. He looked up at God, he smiled, and he said, "It was beautiful, but unfortunately, the note was too high." The plastic man's note began sending heaven higher, although he did not ascend alongside heaven. He was now trapped in a void. Nobody could retrieve him. No one could save him. He was alone. Eventually, his love faded, but his bitterness grew. Eventually, the plastic man let out all of his malice by way of his laugh, and then he began walking in a way that defied all physics. On June 25th, 2012, Michael Jackson had become the first person to no-clip back into reality. He had just become the first spirit demon. Other demons began to emulate what Michael Jackson had done, and some would manage to jury-rig their way into our reality. However, none would achieve the level of power that Michael Jackson achieved. I've only ever dealt with one demon in my lifetime, and it was Michael Jackson. So for the purpose of teaching you, I'm going to tell you everything that happened on that fateful night. Me and a couple of other ghost hunters were invited to an insane asylum because they were having trouble with paranormal activities. So me and these other ghost hunters went to this insane asylum and we began doing our practices, so to speak. And I laid down this huge pile of salt on the ground because the salt will pick up the footprints of any spirits that walk through it. I then went to the restroom because I wanted to wash my hands, and then, from one of the stalls, I heard. I then checked all of the stalls, and I found nothing. So I then went ahead and left and went back out into the hall, but then I looked at my pile of salt, and it just had straight lines going right through it. It was almost as if somebody had walked through it without picking up their feet. Then I got a call on my little radio from the person who was hiring all of us, and he said that he wanted to hold a meeting with all of the ghost hunters to see if they had found anything. So I went ahead and jotted everything down in my little ghoul book, and then I headed on my way there. But on my way there, my heart suddenly began beating really hard, and I could have sworn that I even heard it. And then the lights dimmed, and out from behind a corner came one of my peers, my fellow ghost hunters. They were running from something, and then out from behind the corner came this dark, well, I guess not really dark, but this moderately sized figure that was kind of like distorting the air around him, and he was chasing my ghost hunter friend. For some reason, Michael Jackson was hyper focused on my ghost hunter friend, and he just wasn't interested in me at all. So I followed them around and I tried everything to get Michael to stop harassing my ghost friend. I remember at one point I slammed a metal pipe over his head. That didn't even do anything, he was unfazed. And eventually he finally got my ghost hunter friend in a corner, and he like held his hand up as if he was about to do something, but then we heard gunshots, and we saw the flash of it, and then Michael Jackson, he seemed to not like them, so he covered up his face with his hands, and then he moonwalked into the laundry room that was next to us. One of the people who worked at the insane asylum had a gun and used it on Michael Jackson to try and deter him. Is it illegal to have a gun inside of an insane asylum? Probably, but he just saved my friend's life. So my friend was being very professional. He immediately got up and he said, "Dude, we really need to go catch that guy. He's really strong. I'm fine. We need to go catch him." And so we then went into the laundry room, and almost immediately, Michael Jackson threw my friend against the wall, which I had never seen a ghost do, by the way. Ghosts usually aren't that strong, but he picked my whole friend up. He picked my whole friend up, and he threw him against the wall. This knocked my friend unconscious, but he had one of those cameras, those old-fashioned cameras with one of those flash bulbs on it. So when the camera hit the ground, it activated and it shined light in the room. And I looked at Michael Jackson, and he strafed to the left of the light. And that's when I realized it wasn't the gunshots that he was fleeing from. He was fleeing from the muzzle flash, the flash from the gun. And I bet you're sitting there thinking, oh, what does that mean? It means nothing. He's still just a super strong Michael Jackson kind of guy. What are you going to do against him? And to that, I say, shut up. Why do you keep opposing me with your statements, bro? Seeing this made me realize that Michael Jackson or the demon spirits are weak to very brief flashes of light. So I ran over and I got my friend's camera, and then I flashed him, and he was stunned. So then I kept flashing him, and then I activated my vacuum cleaner, and I started to give him the suck. But this time it was different, because usually when you snare a ghost, they can't really do much. You just have to slam them around until they get dizzy and have trouble fighting, and then it makes it easier to suck them into the vacuum cleaner. But I tried to swing him over my head and slam him around, but I couldn't. Then he grabbed the vacuum cleaner and started swinging me over his head and slamming me around. It hurt a lot, but I held on because I knew that I was never going to get the chance to snare him again if I let go. I then mustered up the strength to bring my camera, or my friend's camera, up, and I flashed him again, which stunned him for a brief second and allowed me to get everything below his shoulders into the vacuum cleaner. He then grabbed onto a nearby table so that he would have something to hold on to and it'd make it harder for me to suck him in. He then saw some laundry detergent and he grabbed it with his mouth and he squeezed it into my eyes, which burnt really badly. I managed to keep my strength for a few seconds, and the few seconds were enough, because I sucked him into the vacuum cleaner before I let go. And as he went swirling down the vacuum cleaner tube, I remember hearing him say, he was gone, for good this time. Anyways, thank you for watching. I really do hope you have a good day, and tune in next week when I teach you how to overthrow that pesky gerbil of yours. Goodbye.
Hello. Hello. You guys deal with dark spirits and like black magic and that sort of thing, right? I was wondering if you could help me out with this thing. I think I might have like some negative energy or like an evil spirit or something here, and I was wondering if you could help me explain, like understand it. Okay, I can help you with that. I can clear it. I'm an expert in that, and I'm a professional spiritual healer at clearing bad energy and bad evil spirits. So I can help you. What is exactly happening to you? Are you feeling anything inside you, or something is touching you, or anything you're feeling, or anything happening bad to your life? Can you explain me your situation, please? So what's happening is I come home from work every day, and my wife, I come to her bedroom door, and she's always like, she has the bedroom door shut, and she's always screaming with the door shut, and eventually I'm like banging on the door, and I get her to open it up, and she she keeps acting very weird after she opens it up, and I don't know, something about it seems off, and it keeps giving me this really bad feeling. Okay. you're living in your own house, or is it a rental, or
It's my own house.
so? How long you been facing this same issue? Can I know, please?
I've been facing it for about, like I'd say 3 months now.
3 months.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think anybody have done this to you before, or this is the first time happening to you, or do you feel like is there anybody behind this?
Um, I'm not really sure.
Okay, I can help you with that, no problem. Because some situation, my dear sister, we may not know what's happening,
Well,
but some
actually,
people.
I don't mean to be rude, but I'm not a female. I'm a guy.
Okay.